Hello everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? That's the main thing right now. Can you hear me? Sound is on. Hello. Okay, excellent. Let me just get the scenes up. There we go. Perfect. Now, can you see me as well, guys? Just making sure we're all up and running before we start. For everyone who's in, how are y'all guys? Hopefully you can see me and hear me. I know you can hear me, which is great. Just making sure you can all see me. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Well, let's get started then, guys. There's a few people in here already. Connor, George Harrington, David James, Foxy the Pirate, Justin Ritchie, Keith Fishkill, Darren TSL, Shadow the Tiger, Dean Purdy, Stuart Gordon. Hello all. Hello everyone. How are we all doing? It's nice to see you all again, or nice for you to see me again, and nice to hear from you all. This is my first live stream of the year, I believe. Yeah, it's definitely the first live stream of 2021. It's been a rough year, as most of you will know. It's probably been a rough year for a lot of you guys. So I'm happy to have you here and happy to be back as well. So what I'll do today is I'll obviously answer some questions in the chat as well, but this is purposefully I've put a question out to a lot of people. It was a few weeks, I think it was last week or so, about the Halloween franchise, and we got quite a lot of comments, which is good. So I'm going to go through them as well as go through the comments in the chat as well. So I'm not going to forget these guys. I'm not going to forget you guys. I'm going to go through them all. And let's see. We'll load this up eventually. Probably should have had this up before I started the chat. There we go. Community. Yeah, so we've got quite a few questions here. A lot of questions are duplicates. So I can obviously only answer at one time, if that's possible. There's a few juicy ones that we'll discuss as well, because I know that a lot of you have asked about Tony Moran, and as part of this video, you can probably see Tony Moran will be discussed. I've just lost my questions again. Here we go. Ba-ba-bum. Here we go. Okay. So we'll have that opened and ready anyway. I'll go through the chat just now, and then we'll start off with that. I'm going to be coughing a lot. So yeah, let's go. Move that over a bit. So yeah, guys, I'm good. Hope you're all doing well. Gary Sim, how you doing, Gary? Gary said, "What's up, Wolfman? You went in on Tony Moran yet?" No, not yet. I will talk about Tony Moran. I did watch the Tony Moran Unmasked video. We'll get into that though, because this is just an introduction just now. Yeah, Jason Dyer, so glad to see you back. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a long time coming. Health issues, family issues, renovation issues, all of that mixed into one. It's just been a crazy few months since January to April. It's just been so crazy. And this is now the last day in April. And I'm just really back up and running now with work, family life, and the channel and the house, etc. So it's good to be back because it was a long time. So yeah. Yeah, love the new look. Do you mean me, or do you mean the new room? This room is really small compared to the attic that I had. Obviously up the stairs is the attic, but that's my new bedroom. So I've lost all that space, and that was a massive attic. So it's getting used to this size. I've had to downsize. You can see obviously I've got Blu-rays there. I've got Blu-rays in front of me as well. But I've really had to condense a lot of it, and I've boxed quite a lot of my Blu-rays, my DVDs and my VHSs as well. I think I've got about 6 or 7 boxes left that I just can't bring out because there's no space for them. So I've had to put out mostly the important ones. I had to put out some other genres for the kids, obviously, like Bolt. Family films had to go out, but they're mainly at the bottom. You can see there I've got family films at the bottom, and then all the horrors higher up so the kids can't reach them, or the younger kids. So yeah, good to be back, good to have some sort of normality with the movie room. You see I've got the final processing silver shamrock novelties restricted area. That's up there, don't go up there. The Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, welcome. Good to see you back, my friend. Good to see you in the chat as well, Darren. Is it you, Darren, or is it somebody else in the podcast? Scott McFarlane has said new mic. No, this is actually, I've had this for about, in fact, well, it is kind of new. I've had it for about 5 months. I got it for my birthday last year. And I've tended not to use it, but I've used it a lot more now. I had to buy another lapel mic yesterday, and it came today. My lapel mic broke when I was about to do some videos, so I had to use this. But I'll be using this for like live streams and stuff like that. But my lapel mic is more professional, so that's for like movie reviews, etc. But yeah, I've had this for about 5 months, give or take a few weeks. Sorry guys, I'll get this up. Jason Dyer has said Tony Moran is dead to us. Yep, we'll talk about Tony Moran shortly. I've had quite a few questions about it. But yeah, we'll discuss Tony Moran because it's probably a big topic. Well, one of the big topics anyway. Scott McFarlane said glass of water, mate. For those of you who are wondering, it's just Pepsi Max Cherry. What's happened to my mic? What's happened to my... There we go. Jason Dyer, most important question is, how is the new improvements on your house? Looks awesome. It is great. I will do a room tour eventually in this room, and I'll give you a sneak peek of the bedroom. Obviously it's a bedroom, there's not much to see apart from my bed. So yeah, I'll give you a sneak peek of what the attic now looks like, because that used to be my studio where I used to do the filming. So it's a shame that it's gone now, but the wife does say it's up to her. But she did compromise. She gave me the office room, which is this room. She said she doesn't want any of this stuff in the bedroom, which is understandable because she doesn't like any of this stuff. But me, I love it. So we compromised and I took the office. So this is my space now. Everything here is mine, which is great. Vanderhoff, good to see you back as well. What's up, Barry? Greetings from New Jersey. Yeah, and I remember you were from New Jersey, or New Jersey. Justin Ritchie, the last live stream I think was October. I think it was. Yeah, it's about 6 months ago. And me and the guys from Halo Stream will be doing another Halo stream ASAP. It's with myself, Lee from Drum Dums, the Wham guys, Mike and Jay, Jim Champagne and Dave McRae will most likely be doing another Halo stream, hopefully if and when this new Halloween Kills trailer comes out, and we'll discuss that later on in this video as well. Scott McFarlane has said, there's been some good things happening in those months though. Yeah. David James has said, where are the Halloween masks? They're up there, David. Let's just tilt it a little bit for you. Ugh. Up there. So they're close by. I like them up there. The only problem is you can't see them in the videos, but it's still good to have them there. So yeah, JBT, thanks for that. The new den does look good. Well, hopefully it looks good anyway. Dean Purdy has asked, does your tattoo have any horror film links? My tattoo? No, it doesn't. I think for those of you who know what that is, it means God send. It means God brings power to the person that holds the symbol. And for those of you TV buffs will know it's from the TV show Heroes from back in 2006. I didn't actually watch the new Heroes Reborn. I think because not everyone was in it, like Peter Petrelli and things weren't in it, so I decided not to watch it. But quite a few people got this tattoo back in the day. It's outdated now, but I still quite like it. Makes people question what it is. Jordan Moran has said, Bolt, a Scottish movie about being told to leave. Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. JBT has asked, any news on the new Halloween? We'll discuss that as well. See what happens in this video. The Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast has said, we still need to get you on the show. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that one. I just love discussing all things horror or all things movies. Like I don't just love the horror genre. But yeah, I can't wait to go on your channel, guys, and on the podcast and talk about something that I know. I did see one of your latest ones, and you're talking about movies that I've just never seen before. And I'm like, if you ask me on and talk about films like that, I'll be like, I don't know anything about them. So yeah, on topic, I'll be good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, guys. Scott McFarlane's asked, what's your favourite edition of the Halloween 78 Steelbook Blu-ray package? I love the latest one, the clear slip. Yeah, I like that one as well. You can't see it from there, but it's up there. I'll show you it later. But yeah, I've got it. Jason Dyer, thanks very much for the super chat. You've said, Barry, you are the man. Oh, thank you very much. Please do another... Sorry, the writing's really small for me. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Yeah, you've wrote, please do another best DVD covers live video. Yeah, that would be quite fun. Yeah, you've said that was so much fun. What is your favourite collectible you own, and what is the one item you want? Keep up the great work. That's a good question. Well, a good couple of questions, Jason. The best item I own? You know, I've got quite a few good ones. Although this is still very much accessible to everyone, I do like my Season of the Witch trilogy. My Season of the Witch kids from NECA, the clothed 7-inch figures. They're just fantastic. I'll show you them later on because they're down there, but I've started to set up some of my NECA stuff here. One item that I'd love to own is, it would probably be a 1/6 scale DeLorean from Back to the Future. I think a lot of people would want that. But yeah, that's probably the one thing that I can think of off the top of my head, because Back to the Future is my favourite movie of all time. So yes, Jason, thanks for the super chat and thanks for the questions as well. Jason Dyer, the Wham family loves you. Thanks very much. I love the Wham family as well. I'm part of the Wham Facebook page, and I think everyone over there's got a great sense of humour, just like Jay and Mike, or Mike and Jay, sorry. Scott McFarlane, loving the masks. Yeah, love the masks as well. Ryan Hills has asked, have you seen Grave Encounters 2? Yes, I have. I've only seen it once though, and I can't remember it. I've seen Grave Encounters as well, and I can't remember that either. I will need to revisit both of them. But I remember liking the first one. I can't even remember if I liked the second one or not. Really sorry, but I can't remember. Kale Hensley, another super chat. Thanks very much for that. You've said a lot of people feel like Halloween 2018 is mediocre at best. If Kills is great, do you feel like that will help people like 2018 more? Yeah, I think it will. I really liked Halloween from 2018. I think it was a step above a lot of the movies in the franchise. Not the best, probably not near the best in the franchise either, but still a good entry. And people who weren't a fan of it to begin with, I think if Halloween Kills is a good entry and Halloween Ends is a good entry, I think people would accept it as David Gordon Green's perfect trilogy. And people would like it more. I always go back to the Dark Knight trilogy with from Christopher Nolan. Batman Begins, I really liked Batman Begins, but I didn't love it. But I started to like it more after I seen The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. So it's a good question, Kale. I genuinely do think people will like it better. Not everyone, it's not for everyone, but I genuinely do feel like people will like it better than they did before because of what happens in Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. But that again is based on if they are good, because if they're really bad and not anywhere near as good as Halloween, then people might not go back to that one. So a lot is riding on the franchise with these two movies that are coming out. Oh, here comes Dude. Dude's back. His name's Dude. He said, "Hey Wolfman, forgot if you already mentioned this, but do you enjoy Halloween 6, the theatrical cut? And do you think Halloween Kills will be better than the 2018 film? Cheers." I don't know if it'll be better than the 2018 film because it was a good return to form for the Halloween franchise. I'm hoping it's better. I think it might be better, but there is still a chance that it won't be better, and there's still a chance it might not be anywhere near as good. As for Halloween 6, no version of Halloween 6 is good, in my opinion. The theatrical cut is the best cut out of the ones that I've saw, but overall, it's one of the worst entries in the franchise for me, and it's obviously due to the Thorn issue, because I hate the Thorn. Awful. Dino Reviews, how you doing, Dino? He said, "I remember I watched the first season of Heroes, but fell off after that with the writer's strike at the time." Yeah, there was a massive writer's strike, and that was an issue because season 2 only had 11 episodes, I believe. 11 or 13. And back then, there was about 20 odd episodes a season for TV shows. And then when season 2 came out, just when it was getting good, I think it was an episode where Peter Petrelli was first fighting Sylar. Is that his name? Sylar? And then it cut because of the writer's strike, and it took ages to get season 3 back, and I think that's where a lot of people fell off. I didn't, because I was a fan of the show, but a lot of people fell away from Heroes after that, and that's maybe why it didn't do too well after. Gashead Steve is here. How you doing, Gashead? Or Steve? Hey, Barry. JBT, "I will be filming my vampire flick in Edinburgh next year." Well, that's a good place to film. Edinburgh is amazing. I've only been to Edinburgh a few times, but it looks so gothic and so medieval. I don't know if you're going to be filming it to be set in the olden days. If you did, then it's a perfect setting. So good luck to you, Jay. Dean Purdy has said, "Do you think releasing Halloween Kills with H2018 as a double feature would be popular?" Yeah, I do. And I think they'll do the same when Halloween Ends comes out as well. I think they'll do a triple feature with 2018 Kills and Ends. They've done it with the original Halloween. I went to see the 2018 Halloween movie, and the night before it I went to see the original Halloween from John Carpenter. But then the next night when I went to see Halloween, the 2018 version, people were coming out from the showing before me from the original Halloween. So yeah, it was on for 2 nights in a row here in Scotland. So I think they'll do the same this time. That's if obviously COVID's all sorted out by then and everyone's had their vaccine. The Real Fifth Beatle has said, "Have you ever seen Threads from 1984? Truly disturbing. Never been repeated on British TV. That sounds interesting. You know, Threads sounds familiar, but it doesn't sound familiar in a horror sense. So I will need to check that out. I need to keep a note of that. Threads. 1984. I'll keep an eye on that. Justin Ritchie said, Dr. Sartain will never be forgiven for. He will never be forgiven at all for being in EastEnders. Dino Reviews has said, it's a pity they never called it Halloween Returns. It would have went much better with kills and ends overall, I think. Yeah, I've said that time and time again as well, and I totally agree. Halloween is great for 1978, but if it's a true continuation, I think maybe because they didn't know how popular it would be, but if they called it Halloween Returns, I think people would enjoy that, and it would be smooth. You'd have Halloween, Halloween Returns, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. A great quadruple feature. Foxy the Pirate said, I really like Halloween 2018, but the Sartain twist was terrible. Yeah, that was the worst part of the movie. I wouldn't even call it a twist because it only lasted about a minute. But I'm glad they nipped it in the bud as quick as they did, because if they kept that going, then things would have went south. But I'm hoping, because that was a massive issue for a lot of people, hopefully David Gordon Green saw that and he will decide never to do anything like that again, because that was bad. JBT's asked, do you like The Boys? I love The Boys. The Boys is absolutely amazing. I didn't realise how good Jack Quaid was as an actor. I've seen him in a few things and he's been good. I think the last thing I saw him in before The Boys was Rampage with The Rock. So he was a kind of bit part in a lot of things, but seeing him in that, he steals the show a lot of the times. Obviously Carl Urban is fantastic as well. The Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, I said we'd love to get you on for our 1987 episode. 1987 is prime for me. Monster Squad, The Lost Boys, Superman 4, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Predator, Robocop, etc. Yeah, 1987, what a year for movies in general, but especially horror movies. The Lost Boys and The Monster Squad, two of the best movies of that year. Yeah, so I'm happy to go on and talk about those movies because they were fantastic. Beverly Hills Cop 2, not so much. I really liked Robocop. GS has said, greetings from my movie corner to yours. LOL. I wonder if anything will be done with the extra footage they found for Halloween 5. I think I'd done a video for that about 3 years ago now. And they said they had footage, really good quality footage as well. So good that they could put it on a 4K release. But nothing's came of it since. They said, we found the footage, we saw it, but we're not showing you it. So I think that's pointless. So show us the footage, guys. Threads is awesome. Nuclear Bomb in Sheffield. There's a great Blu-ray. Oh, it's on Blu-ray. That'll be cool. Yeah. Looks like everyone's seen it apart from me. Jason Dyer with another super chat. Thanks very much, Jason. You've said top 3 movies you want to see remade. Good question. Do you think they will ever try to do a proper remake of The Fog? Loved the original, but the remake was bad. I've not seen all of the remake. I watched the first 40 minutes of it and I had to turn it off. And I'm not like that. I don't tend to turn films off, but it was just so bad. I don't know if they'll try it again. Maybe, I don't know if they'll try it again. But top 3 movies that I want to see remade. It's a really good question. Let me turn around and look at the movie corner. Night of the Creeps would be a good one. When I say I'd like to see films get remade, it doesn't mean I hate the originals. It means that I love the originals so much that I'd like to see an updated version of it to see what people think and what people would do. And by bringing out a remake of a movie, it brings popularity to the originals. Sorry guys. So yeah, Night of the Creeps is one of them. Another one I'd love to see remade would be Lady in White from 1988, starring Lucas Haas. That's a really creepy movie. So I'd love to see that getting remade. And also in The Midnight Hour from 1985. It was a TV show, a TV movie I should say, from ABC back in 1985. Again, a film that not a lot of people have heard of or seen, but it's fantastic. And if you've not seen that movie, you need to check it out, especially around Halloween time. It's great. But thanks, Jason, for that super chat. Dude to said the Monster Squad was terrific. Absolutely. I can still remember going to see Care Bears in Wonderland with my mum and sister at the cinema and wanting to see Monster Squad instead. No luck. Saw it on TV, VHS. Yeah, I never saw it in the cinema either. I don't even think it got a cinematic release here. But I remember renting it from the video store, and I rented it. And then it was finally on TV, and I recorded it and kept the tape, wore it out, watched it again on TV, and that was it. And I had to wait till about 2001 or 2 or something like that to get a DVD copy of it when eBay came around. It was crazy. Dean Purdy has said, the strange thing about RoboCop, you were in primary school in 1987, is that all the boys knew about it and I think had merchandise, but it was an 18 certificate. Yeah, I think we've all seen RoboCop. I think one bit in RoboCop that scarred us for life was that acid melting scene. That was horrible. Vanderhoff said a remake of Final Exam would be great. Yeah, that would be great as well. Final Exam's a little known slasher movie from 1980 or 81, I think it was. And that was a good film. That was a solid film. So yeah, I'd love to see a remake of that as well. Race with the Devil. Scott McFarlane said he'd like to see a remake of Race with the Devil. I've not seen Race with the Devil. No, I'm thinking of Ride with the Devil with Skeet Ulrich. I've not seen Race with the Devil. Ryan Hills has asked, would you have liked us to have got a Rob Zombie Halloween 3? If we had, would you have gone to see it? I've obviously went to see it. I wouldn't have high hopes for it. I think it was going to come out around about the time of 3D movies, and it was going to be called Halloween 3D. And I think that was one of the delays because they wanted to bring it out in 3D. So I'm glad that 3D did come around because they kind of delayed the movie. And then eventually it was scrapped, obviously. So I wouldn't like it if he made it, but I would go and see it anyway because it's a Halloween movie. Dean Purdy's asked, have you seen the Satanic Rites of Dracula? It's brilliant, like Hammer does Dracula versus the Avengers. Really hard to get in DVD Blu-ray. Wonderful main theme tune. I've never seen it. I've never heard it either. I'm not a fan of Hammer or Hammer style movies like classic Dracula, which is crazy because one of my favourite movies is The Monster Squad. But they've got a cool teenage kids version of these famous characters. But I'm not a fan of the Hammer movies. Yeah, Justin Rich said, I'd love to see more remakes of bad horror movies. Just because why remake something that is great when you can improve movies that are terrible? Yeah, I mean, as much as I'd like to see remakes of good movies, I'd like to see remakes of bad movies as well. And we have had quite a few. We had, in my opinion, the Amityville Horror from 1979 was bad. So to remake that was a good choice. To remake The House of Eyes was a good choice. I Spit on Your Grave, The Last House on the Left. There's a lot of movies that are considered classic or cult classics, but when you watch them, they're not great movies. So when you remake them, sometimes it's easy to beat the original because the original wasn't so good to begin with. JS, are you big into Vinegar Syndrome, or do you just pick up a title here and there? I think I've got one title. I'm sure it's yeah, it's Grandmother's House. The annoying thing about this title is I bought this and I got it imported from the US, and then literally after it shipped, I got an announcement from 88 Films that they were releasing the Slasher Classics collection in the UK. I've not picked it up yet, but I'm going to have to pick it up, so I'll be double dipping because I need to complete that Slasher Classics collection. So that's a bummer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head into some of the questions just so we can catch up in these as well, because there's quite a few. I think there's about 30 questions, but some of them are duplicates, so we can skip some of them. Here we go. When I cough like this, I usually cut it out on my videos, so you're getting to see the live. So Anthwood Movie Mania, I don't know if you're watching or not, but you've asked a question. You've asked, will Carpenter's score for Halloween Kills be more intense than 2018? I think it will be, and I think it's because John Carpenter's probably seen a lot of praise for The Shape Hunts Allison, and that was so intense, original and new at the same time. So I think he'll maybe incorporate some of that style from that one tune from the movie and bring it into Halloween Kills, make it more intense, because it should be a more intense movie if there's going to be more kills in it. So yeah, hopefully. So yeah, when I posted up on my YouTube community page, I posted up a picture of Michael holding a mask, and I said, like, ask questions for this live video, and a lot of people asked me, where did that picture come from? And it is a picture from Halloween Kills. I'm not sure if anyone's released that image or showed that image online. I don't know if I can't even remember if it was leaked or not, but it's definitely an image from Halloween Kills anyway. So Sir Fazbender has said, which of their three protagonists, Laurie, Alison and Karen, do you honestly think could die? If significant, how do you think it'll affect Halloween Ends, for better or for worse? Well, I think one of them could die in Halloween Kills, because we need to have a bit of an impact leading on to Halloween Ends. Honestly, don't think it'll be Laurie, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Laurie. So I don't hold out hope for Karen, but then we might have a surprise. Karen might be the sole survivor, and Alison and Laurie might die straight away. So I honestly don't know, but I think if anyone's going to die out of the three of them, it's most likely going to be Karen that would die in Halloween Kills first, if any of them were to die. Again, some of these questions I've answered before, guys, so if you're watching and you've asked a question, I'm really sorry. Okay, so yeah, I've seen quite a few questions about Tony Moran, so we'll get into the Tony Moran thing, guys. So apologies if you're asking questions on here as well. I'll talk about the Tony Moran thing. So I got light of the Tony Moran issue back when it happened, but obviously I was still doing my renovations. And this is just my thoughts. I watched the video. I watched all of his video. And I think was it Dave McRae? Somebody put, I think it was Dave McRae. Somebody put up a video saying that, well, yeah, this is just the highlights reel. This is his bad bits. There might be some nice bits that are cut out, which is understandable. But even though it's been cut to show the bad bits, some of the bad bits are really bad. Looking at it though, it seems like he's just rehearsed most of this, because when it shows you it cut from different conventions, he's saying almost line for line, word for word. So I think he's rehearsed a lot of it. I think it's a bit of a pantomime. Doesn't look good though, because obviously what he's saying is really bad, and it's bad. Some of the things he's accusing people of, like Jamie Lee Curtis having sex with people on set, John Carpenter abusing Deborah Hill, that's a lot. That's a big allegation, a couple of big allegations that he's got there, but he said it as if it was just nothing. So I genuinely believe he's not all there. I think there's something wrong with him. He might need help, I don't know, so I don't really want to bash the guy, but at the same time, if he's of a sane mind, I think what he's doing is bad. He's acting like he's a sane person. So like some of the people that he was talking to on the shows that he was on and some of the conventions, you can see that they don't agree with him, but they look so awkward when he's telling them these stories or saying F this guy, F that guy, and they're like, yeah, oh god, shoot myself. So I think it was very cringy, most of the things he was saying. I think he's just in it for the money though. I think he's went over the top though. I think he thinks if he keeps himself the way he is, he'll stay relevant. But I think he's went too far. And I think a lot of people can go too far, but when somebody releases a video like they did for Tony Moran, it becomes popular in a bad way. And that's why Tony Moran looks like he had to do an apology as well. I only read half the apology, so I can't really comment on it, but that's all I can really say about Tony Moran. He doesn't seem like a nice guy. He's not someone that I would talk to at all. Not someone I would pay to go and see. Not someone I would ask an autograph for. Not someone I would get a photograph with. He doesn't respect us. He doesn't respect people who go to conventions. And he doesn't even respect the Halloween franchise or anyone involved in it. But he'll still go to the conventions and take money. So it's convenient to him when it suits him and when he needs the money. But when he doesn't need the money or he thinks he's got his fame again, then he'll just bash the franchise. So Tony Moran, it's not really worth talking about, to be honest. Right, so move on a little bit. In fact, I'll go back to the chat just now as well. Jordan Moran said, remake The Burning. Rewatched it last night. Brutal. Hasn't aged well, other than the practical effects. Really, I think The Burning lived up quite well. I like it better than Friday the 13th, to be honest. No, I don't like it better than some of the Friday the 13th movies, because it's similar. But I think it holds up well. In fact, I like it so much I've got two versions of it. I've got the Scream Factory version and the Arrow video version. Yeah, Scott McFarlane, you love the Hammer stuff. What about the Hammer House of Horror series that was on a Saturday night in the 80s? I don't even remember that. I remember the name, but I don't remember watching it. Maybe I was a little bit too young. I was born in 1983, so maybe it was just a little bit before my time. Dean Purdy has said, when it comes to remakes, I would say that the day they announce a Jaws remake is the day we should all just head to the hills. I don't agree with that. I think every movie has the potential to be remade. Whether it's good or bad is a different story, but every movie has the potential to be remade. My favourite movie is Back to the Future, and if they announce a remake for that, I wouldn't mind. I'd go and see it. It doesn't mean the original disappears. Doesn't bother me. My cousin Brian's here, Bri Horror Channel. If any of you guys if any of you guys don't know Brian, head over to his Instagram. He does a lot of these. He makes his own figures, and honestly, the detail in some of these is amazing. He also makes like dioramas for his NECA figures and stuff. It's brilliant. So yeah, check his stuff out. It does sell a few things. I don't want to punt you here, Brian. It does sell a few things, but not all the time, so don't hassle him. But just check out his Instagram because some of the stuff he makes is amazing. Justin Ritchie said, the original Friday the 13th isn't that great, but part 2 is really great. Part 4, part 6, and the 2009 reboot are probably my 3 favourite Friday the 13th movies. Part 3 is really good as well. Bri Horror Channel said Spielberg needs to make one more Jaws. Yeah, even that, even if you don't remake Jaws, reboot it. You know, like the Halloween franchise, but then obviously it's not going to be the same shark, but make it similar, make it the same storyline, the same beach, all that kind of stuff. I think that would probably work rather than doing a remake. Jordan Moran said the acting was pretty brutal in The Burning. Again, I think the acting in The Burning was not too bad. And saying when it was bad, but comparing it to other movies back in the day, it's probably a little bit better than a lot of the movies that came out around about the same time. No problem, Brian. Tom, I've seen you comment on my channel before, and I can't pronounce your last name, so I'm really sorry. Tom Ungurian. I've just butchered that, I know I have. But your favourites are Friday the 13th, Part 2 and 4. Yeah, Part 2 was good. 1, 2, 3 and 4 are solid. 5's not the worst. 6 is one of my favourites, and again, the reboot. Right, I'm going to go back to some of these questions because I need to try and get through these as well. Right, that's already been asked. Gabriel V. Pena has said, after Halloween ends, what are the chances of a Season of the Witch reboot in the same universe? I have discussed this before, but I'll say it again. I'd love to see that. If that was the gap, if that was the filler that we got until we got another Halloween movie, I'd be absolutely happy with that. As you can see, I'm a massive fan of Season of the Witch. More so now than I was before. I think most of you probably hated Season of the Witch when you first saw it, expecting to see Michael Myers. But accepting the fact that it's not a Michael Myers movie, watching it on its own merits, I think is a really good movie from 1982. So doing something like that in the meantime as a bridge between the current Halloween series and the next Halloween series, whenever that comes, then I would welcome that. Yep, where's this image from? Blah, blah, blah. Again, I can't answer some of these questions. Some of them are really funny. I'm going to like that one. It's Blitz had said something funny. So here's a good question from Kevin Murnane. Who has been the best Laurie prototype in the series? So what he means is from Rachel in Halloween 4 to Tina in Halloween 5, Cara in Halloween 6, Sarah in Halloween 7, remake Laurie, Alison, etc, etc. Who do you feel deserves the Laurie crown out of all the contemporaries throughout the entire series? I would say Rachel from Halloween 4. I know that Jamie was one of the main characters, but Rachel was the Laurie type character. The reason I think is Rachel is she was a lovable character. She cared for Jamie, not at the start. Well, she did care for her, but she cared for her more throughout the movie. So her character arc was really good. Her character was built over this movie, which is why a lot of people were disgruntled when she was killed in Halloween 5. But she was just so lovable. And the good thing about Ellie Cornell in Halloween 4 is she's a great actress as well. She played Rachel better than Jamie Lee Curtis played Laurie in Halloween 1978. And I'm sure most of you won't disagree with that, because Jamie Lee Curtis's acting in the 1978 movie was passable. It was good. But whereas Rachel was more believable and a better character and a better actress at the time. I know that Jamie Lee Curtis is a great actress now. She's way better than Ellie Cornell now. But when you compare both of them in their first roles in a Halloween movie, it goes to Ellie Cornell as Rachel. So the answer is Rachel. Again, what's next for Halloween? Where do you see it going? Sorry guys, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't ask these questions. I just answered the question before first. Yeah. Harut Krikor has said, do you think if they make another Halloween film, should they explore Michael being a kid again? Do something better than what Rob Zombie did? No, I don't think so. I don't think they should ever do that again. I think we got 40 minutes of a backstory for young Michael in Rob Zombie's Halloween. And as much as it was interesting, it was unnecessary and way over the top. I liked Rob Zombie's Halloween. I didn't like part 2, obviously, but I liked it. But if they just shortened that backstory, it would have been a lot better. Shorter as well, but a lot better. So I don't think they should explore that again. And I'm hoping that any filmmaker who does sign up to do another Halloween movie will know that it's not a great idea. Right, so I'll leave the questions just now. I'll go back to the chat. Yeah, Brian, my cousin said about the Halloween 3 remake. It would be interesting. And not just do like a Season of the Witch. You could still explore the Season of the Witch with the masks, but do other things that John Carpenter intended to see every year. Maybe not do it every year, but do it like an anthology style. with different spooky stories, kind of like Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps or the Fear Street movies that are coming out on Netflix. Something similar to that. Yeah, Rachel hands down, JS, absolutely. Rachel for sure, Brian. Tom Ungarian. I'm pronouncing it wrong every time. Wolfman, Blumhouse has a movie coming out called Black Phone, but it's the director that did Sinister. Is it? So I'm kind of excited because I like Scott Derrickson, yeah. I love Scott Derrickson. He directed, or he's directing the new... Is he still directing the new Doctor Strange? I think he is. But he directed one of the scariest, and I mean one of the scariest horror movies of all time, and that is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Wow, what a scary movie that was. If you've not seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose, I urge you to watch it. If you want to get scared though, watch it yourself. Watch it in the dark. Maybe even put earphones in if you feel up to it. But The Exorcism of Emily Rose, oh, it's frightening. So yeah, I need to look that up. Black Phone. And it's Blumhouse as well. Interesting. Why have I not heard of that? Robert Anthony Yedin has said, do you think they'll mention Halloween 2018 in Scream 5? Don't know. Maybe. Do you know what? They probably will. I think maybe they'll do this. They go with the trends in the Scream movies, and the trend right now is reboots. And when I say reboots, I mean rebooting the whole franchise right back to part 1. So you're doing a sequel to part 1 again. So yeah, I think they will mention, if not Halloween, they'll mention that style of horror movie that's coming out now. Christian Hannah Horror, hey man, it's nice to see you back. Greetings from Louisiana. I love Louisiana. I've never been to America, but I just want to visit so many places in America. And Louisiana, that's one of the places I love to visit. So welcome, Christian. GS has asked, did you get the German edition of The Hitcher? No, I didn't. I'm waiting for a UK release because I know that it's going to come out. I think Studio Canal or possibly Arrow will pick it up. Maybe Studio Canal will get it. Sam Raimi is directing the next Doctor Strange. Oh, is he? Did Scott Derrickson direct the first Doctor Strange? Or was it Alan Taylor? No, I'm getting mixed up. Was Scott Derrickson linked to any Doctor Strange? Intel Wild has given me a super chat. Thanks very much for that, Intel Wild. You've asked, do you think It's Me, Billy will be the best horror fan film ever made? I can see you're probably going to be a fan of it because that is your picture, Billy. I think it's going to be the most professional looking. It looks so professional to the point it actually looks like a Hollywood movie. Will it be the best? Who knows? Time will tell. At this moment in time, my favourite is Jimmy Champagne's Halloween fan film. That came out of nowhere. That was filmed over one night or 2 nights or whatever. And it was just came out of the blue. And it was fantastic. Great little story. It was only 11 or 12 minutes long. And it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It blew me away. In fact, it was so good. So it's going to be hard to top that. But by the looks of things, It's Me, Billy is looking like it could top it. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it comes out in the middle of May. So yeah, looking forward to that. My cousin Brian, it looks like he saw The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Go back and watch it again with your earphones on though. Wayne Via has said, the best thing about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is the moody blues. Best thing about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is the Moody Blues song from Nights in the White Satin. I love the Moody Blues. Is that a song? Or is that... Oh, is Moody Blues a band or a song? Ryan Hills has said, I hope Halloween Kills will end with Michael being shot down dead and then they remove his mask and it turns out it's not Michael. Oh, I hope they don't do that. No. I appreciate that and respect that that's what you want, but I hope to God that doesn't happen. That would just remind me of Halloween Resurrection. Byron Weaver has said, what unused Halloween script would you like to see happen as an actual movie? One that I mentioned this on the channel before. One that sounds very interesting is the High Rise Halloween movie, where Michael goes into a high-rise flat, a high-rise apartment building, and he's killing people on every floor. That sounds like the most interesting to me. Tom is nervous about the flashback scenes in Halloween Kills. I'm not nervous. I'm expecting to see something good come out of the flashback scenes, and I'm hoping that we get a good feel for that. I think David Gordon Green is a competent director, and he wouldn't do it if he knew he couldn't do it. So I'm looking forward to the flashback scenes. Yeah, Calica Boy said he lives about an hour from Pasadena, California, where they shot the original Halloween. I'm sure you'd love to visit those locations someday. Yeah. I mean, if I was going to California, that would be where I would want to go, Pasadena, to go and see those parts. David James has put a super chat in. Thanks very much, David, for that. David had said, a few good horrors coming out in May. Army of the Dead, Spiral, A Quiet Place 2, and a lot more coming soon. Anyone in particular coming soon that is a must? Any thoughts on the Unholy trailer? I've not seen the Unholy trailer. I need to check that out. I completely forgot about A Quiet Place Part 2. And if that's still coming out in May, I'm looking forward to that. However, Army of the Dead, I'm really looking forward to that. For one of the main reasons is I've been watching The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead lately. I'm almost caught up, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't want anything to get spoiled. So I think because I've been watching The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, that I'm really looking forward to seeing Army of the Dead. And I recently watched Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead as well, and I love that movie. So if he can do what he done in Dawn of the Dead, I'm sure Army of the Dead will be good as well. Right, so Derrickson did direct the first Doctor Strange, but left the new one due to creative differences with Disney. Yeah, so he directed the first one. I knew something like that was happening. Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange 2, it's maybe not, it's not a bad idea, to be honest. It's a bit of a horror. Sam Raimi's done horror, and Sam Raimi's also done comic book, obviously, with the Spider-Man trilogy, so yeah, that sounds interesting. Byron Weaver has asked, do you have the book Taking Shape 2? No, I don't have that at all. I started reading it online and I forgot all about it. I've not read the first one either. I'm going to pour myself another drink because when you talk this long, you get thirsty. Cheers, guys. Yeah, so Scott Derrickson. Yep, Derrickson was... Am I way behind in this chat, guys? No, I'm fine. X-Connor X has said Saw 4K is coming in May. Can't wait for that. The original Saw is unbelievable. Yeah, the original Saw is really good. I'll probably get the 4K. Although, how are they going to do it? Are they going to release Saw in 4K and then a few months later we're going to get the box set with all of them in it? But then are you going to get the box set knowing that there might be more Saw movies coming out after it, and then you have an incomplete box set? The life of a collector is never ending. Vanderhoff was 30 years old when H2O was released, and you went 8 days in a row and tried to love it. I know it's your favourite, but it's Dawson's Creek Horror. Oh, Vanderhoff. It was made before Dawson's Creek. So, if you want to compare, you would say Dawson's Creek is copying H2O. That's all I can say about that. H2O was just like any other slasher movie in the late 90s. It had a bunch of teens with a cool hip score and a decent storyline and with a decent budget. And that's all you could really ask for back in those days anyway. It's not my favourite in the Halloween franchise, but I do love it. And it's not a Dawson's Creek horror movie. Dawson's Creek is a horror TV show. Yeah. Byron Weaver has asked, what do you think Michael Myers was doing during the events of Halloween 3? Well, he was burnt in Halloween 2, and then he was in the hospital at the start of Halloween 4. So I'm going to assume that between that time, between those 10 years, he was just crispy in hospital, healing, waiting to find someone, Jamie. Sorry guys, I will always do this. Imran has said, hey Barry, new set looks fab, thank you. I really hope Halloween Kills isn't just a gore fest and it actually has some genuine scares and plenty of tense scenes. The 2018 movie was pretty underwhelming. Well, yeah, I want blood and I want kills and Halloween Kills, but I don't want them to overdo it. And I think they've done that well in the 2018 movie. They didn't overdo it. And some of the kills were off screen, which I do like, and I do prefer that sometimes. But I want to see a bit more kills. But again, like you said, I don't want them to overdo it because you probably just look at it and go, this is just like Saw or Hostel or something. Don't want them to go down that route. Oh, it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan that's in The Unholy. Now, I do love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. As I've just mentioned, I watched The Walking Dead. So, yeah, I'll need to check out The Unholy trailer. The synopsis for it is, a hearing impaired girl is visited by the Virgin Mary and can suddenly hear, speak and heal the sick. As people flock to witness her miracles, terrifying events unfold. That sounds interesting. I'll need to check that out, David. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah. Tom Ungurian. The last Spiral trailer didn't do it for me. I don't know why. I hope it's good though. The Spiral trailer, none of the Spiral trailers that I've saw have done anything for me. I'm not looking forward to seeing it, but I will see it. I'm not a fan of the Saw franchise. I think the first 3 or 4 Saw movies were good. But after that, they got ridiculous. I don't know that this isn't a Saw movie, but it's a spin-off of Saw. I'll see it, but it's not on the top of my list. Vanderhoff said, H2O is a Scream movie with Jamie Lee Curtis. Absolutely, it certainly is. And I thank Scream for that. And I always will do, because if it wasn't for Scream and Wes Craven, movies like Halloween would be sitting on the VHS shelf and not in the cinema. And thanks to Scream, movies like Halloween H2O, Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, were able to get theatrical releases and come out and be big again. I know that, I think it was Jason Smith said that he doesn't like it when people say Scream saved the horror franchise. I agree with that. I don't think it saved the horror franchise, but I think it saved the horror box office in terms of getting movies like Halloween H2O back in the open again. So if it wasn't for the Scream movies and the Scream formula, then we wouldn't have some of the great movies of the late 90s. So H2O is a Scream movie with Jamie Lee Curtis, absolutely, but for me that's not a bad thing. XConnorX has asked, are you watching any horror films or any films tonight? No, I think I'm just going to chill tonight after this. and get to bed early. I was going to watch a horror movie last night and I couldn't think of what one to watch, so I ended up watching Best Laid Plans from 1999. It was the first time I'd ever saw that movie. The weird thing is, it felt like an episode of Fargo, and then when I checked out the director, I found out the director directed a couple of episodes of the Fargo series. But it was actually an okay movie. It stars Josh Brolin, Reese Witherspoon, and Alessandro Nivoli, and all three were great in it. And it wasn't an amazing movie. It was okay. It was pretty good. It was quite unpredictable as well. Are you going to buy the new 4K release of Saw by Justin Ritchie? No, not straight away, because I want to see what other versions of it will come out, because I don't know if it's going to come out in a box set or whatever. If it's going to come out individually, then yeah, I might do. Before I go back into this, guys, I'm going to answer some of these questions again and go back to this topic, back to the community page. Tommy Quinn has asked, do you think Michael will survive Halloween Ends instead of being killed off at the end of all of them? He will kill everyone and ends one by one, then John Carpenter's score. I don't see him killing everyone and then that's it, ends, and then he'll go on. I think people will survive, but also I wouldn't guarantee that Michael will die. Michael may still live at the end of this, even though he's 61 years old in this timeline. So he might still live, but again, time will tell. Right, just going back into this. I saw something about Bates Motel there. Yeah, Byron Weaver has said, would you like a Bates Motel type of series after Halloween Ends? And do you think an anthology series with Alison Strode could work? It could. When Bates Motel was announced, I thought, how can you do a TV show of one of the most iconic horror movies of all time? And I was wrong. You can. Because I think Bates Motel was really good. I think what made Bates Motel really good was the cast that they chose for all the characters. I think the casting is key to things like this. So if they get the casting right for a Halloween show, then it could work. But it would be very risky. It was a risk worth taking for Bates Motel, but it's not always going to work. Vanna Hoff said, I love Scream, I agree. I love 90s horror. If you love 90s horror, how can you not love H2O? Come on. Do you love Urban Legend? I do. Loop, loop, loop. Or loopy, loopy, loopy. Hi, Wolfie. Hi, loopy. Dean Purdy has said, do you agree that Halloween 5 was the fork in the road for the series? If they got that right, the series would have been very different thereafter. 100%. Yeah. Because Halloween 4 was great. It didn't have anything to do with the Thorn, which was great. And then, for some reason, within a year, they turned the franchise upside down with this Thorn malarkey. And it's just because of that Thorn. That's what made the Halloween franchise go just right down. So, if they got it right, we could be looking at a completely different Halloween franchise today. Some of these questions are great, guys. I could probably talk about these questions more in depth, but that was just a quick answer. GS has asked, how was your experience with COVID? Did it take a long time to get back to normal? We're still not back to normal. Most of you know. I'll just quickly talk about it, but I'll not go into it much. My mother-in-law sadly passed away with COVID, and we're still dealing with that just now. That's one of the reasons I wasn't on the channel quite a lot over the past few months, and it was really hard. We took COVID seriously before it, but we're taking it a lot more seriously just now, and so should everyone. It's not to be laughed at. So yeah, we've had a bad experience with COVID. We didn't think we'd be one of the ones to experience it, but we have, and we just have to try and live with it now. But it's hard, but we're trying to move on. Yeah, Loopy. Best laid plans is actually okay if you've got an hour and a half to spare. Why not? It's a decent movie. Bry Horror Channel has asked, what's your views on the second series of Creepshow? I wasn't too keen on it. I've not even seen the first series of Creepshow. I don't know why I haven't seen it. I think it's because before I watched it, or before I was going to watch it, I heard bad reviews, so I just kind of avoided it. I didn't even know there was a second series. I may have to check it out though, because it might get better. Because I've loved those types of things, Creepshow movies and stuff, so I'll need to check it out. Oh, a little bit gassy there. Yeah, Caleb Ellis has said Halloween Ends might have a safe ending, that way to keep the door open for another saga or TV series. That's true, they might do that, but on the other hand, David Gordon Green has stipulated that this is his personal trilogy, so he might end it. He might make sure it ends completely. Michael's dead, or somebody's dead, or whatever, but I think he's closing that chapter regardless, and that's his story, and I think they'll redo something after that, reboot it later, but it could still end with a cliffhanger, and we could have a 60 odd year old Michael still alive. Brendan McCurry has said, glad I can actually watch someone that's Scottish like me. You never see Scottish YouTubers for anything. Keep up the good work, mate. Thank you very much, Brendan. As soon as I saw the name, I knew you were going to be Scottish. And it's good to see Scottish people in the chat, because I don't see a lot of Scottish YouTubers out there. I think there is a few, but there's not that many. Especially in the horror community or Blu-ray community or whatever. We've got Graham, who's on Man vs. Film. He's from Glasgow as well, the same area as me. I actually saw Graham in the cinema years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. He didn't see me, but I saw him. But yeah, there's just not that many Scottish YouTubers out there, which is quite sad. Jason Dyer has said, what do you want to see at the conclusion of Halloween Ends? Next movie, a continuation, a remake, continue from another Halloween timeline, or something else? I would probably say a remake. And it's hard to take because a lot of people hate remakes, but I'm hoping that David Gordon Green closes a chapter in the Halloween franchise and that's it done. That's Laurie Strode finished as well. And I think continuing it on as a reboot would be better, except that we could have a Michael Myers who's 25 years old. He's living in Haddonfield. Have all the major players or the major places have Haddonfield there. Have the sanitarium, Haddonfield Memorial, Michael Myers, maybe even Dr. Loomis or a doctor. But don't have Laurie Strode. Have a different character to run with for the next 3 or 4 movies. Finish it and start again. Do like a James Bond style Michael Myers story. And I think that could work if it's done well. Vanderhoff has said, I do like Halloween H2, but I feel the mask debacle was unacceptable. Well, that's just it's a creative issue that they had, because the mask was a big issue in the previous movies before that. Nobody liked the masks in Halloween 4 and 5 or 6. I think the final mask that they went with in H2O, which is up there, I think that's a great mask. That's the Stan Winston mask. Yes, they used a CGI mask and they used other masks in it, but they obviously learned from their mistakes too late because the budget was finished. They couldn't go back and shoot certain scenes, so they had to make do with what they had. But the mask, it's not a big issue for me. Not at all. Byron Weaver said, if we got an anthology series with Alison Strode, what would you call it? Or would you do a Joker type standalone with Alison? I would do a Joker type Halloween movie, but not with Alison. I would do it with Michael Myers. It would be almost like a silent movie, but have Michael Myers, like everybody asks, what's Michael Myers doing when he's not out killing? You could have a Joker type movie with Michael Myers just wandering about, waiting for his next kill, waiting for his next victim, sitting in an apartment building, lying down, going to sleep, taking his mask off, but just never revealing his face to us. Never seen him going to the toilet, never seen him sleeping. That would be interesting. Sorry guys, I keep having to cough. Did you know Neve Campbell is half Scottish? Asked Robert Anthony Eden. Yes, I did. I think she's half Scottish, half Canadian, or half Scottish, quarter Canadian, quarter American or something. But yes, I did know. She wore a kilt for one of the premieres of one of her movies, I think. Byron Weaver has asked, how would you feel if James McAvoy played a Loomis type character in a Halloween film? I think that would be outstanding, amazing. I tell this story all the time, but I used to work with James McAvoy just up the road in Sainsbury's in my local supermarket. He worked in the bakery, I worked in the produce department, and I never knew he was going to go and be an actor. And just imagine he was in a Halloween movie. I mean, I was gobsmacked when they announced he was in a Pennywise It movie. So yeah, if he was Dr. Loomis, that would just top the lot. Byron Weaver has said, let Adam Green make a Halloween film, a one-off like Hush from Netflix. Like a one-off Halloween film? Yeah, you could do. Although Hush wasn't original, just to let you know. But yeah, Adam Green is a good director. I like the Hatchet movies, and I love Frozen. That's great. Yeah, Brian said, perhaps Halloween Ends is the end for Laurie. That Michael finally kills her, and she was always the only character in the first movie to survive. Yeah, so I think if Laurie's just got a bigger chance of dying as Michael does, so it's 50-50. Caleb Ellis has said, here in the UK, need to open their cinemas. It's ridiculous how kids are going to raves and mixing without masks. I mean, yeah, as much as it's great for cinemas to open up, two wrongs don't make it right. So even though these kids are going to raves, they shouldn't be. Just like cinemas shouldn't be open just now. That's a personal choice for some people. Some people just don't feel safe. Obviously, with things that happen to me, I don't feel safe going out there and risking it for not just myself and my family, but other people. So it's how you feel as a person, how you feel, how safe you are as well. So it just depends. I think everyone's different. Ryan Hills has said, do you think Michael was the father of Jamie Lloyd's baby? Or was it just a theory? I don't know. I mean, they made it look as if he was the father. I wouldn't put it past them because that movie was batshit crazy. What about a Loomis spin-off? I mean, yeah, that'd be quite cool because Loomis, I'm sure he's not just got one patient. So a Loomis spin-off would be pretty interesting. Maybe leading it up to Michael Myers because Loomis was young before. He could be in the sanitarium for years and got different patients, dealing with the patients similar to Michael. And then maybe in the finale of the very last episode, somebody could say, oh, Dr. Loomis, you've got a new patient. His name is Michael Myers. The end. And that's it. Justin Ritchie said, I saw James McAvoy in the chat and immediately knew exactly what your response would be. Yep, absolutely. I do tell the story all the time. It's my claim to fame, and I will always tell that story. Robert Anthony Eden has said, what's your favourite Ewan McGregor film? Mine's is Trainspotting. I think mine's is probably, obviously remove like the, well, you don't even need to remove the Star Wars movies because none of them are great. I would say, don't shoot me here, but I do like The Island from Michael Bay, starring Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. That was a decent movie. But Ewan McGregor's not in amazing movies. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. The Impossible. That's my favourite Ewan McGregor movie. What a movie. I was crying all the way through that. Vanderhoff, thanks for the live stream, Barry. I'm having such a fun time. Having a fun time? You'd have an even more fun time if you loved H2O as much as I did. Dean Purdy said, unless the title Halloween Ends is literal, i.e. Michael does his thing and disappears on the 1st of November to get back to his day job in Sainsbury's. So it's all open for another film, absolutely. Take that mask off, he could be anyone with one eye. Yeah, Brian said Shallow Grave. I knew someone would say Shallow Grave. Brendan said Doctor Sleep. See, I thought Doctor Sleep was really good, but because of Rebecca Ferguson, Ewan McGregor was okay. Jason Dyer, another super chat. Thanks very much for that. You've said, I'm just so glad you're back. Thank you very much. I'm glad too. Love the passion you have for movies. Always look forward to your videos. Cheers and have a great weekend. Thanks very much, Jason. Does that mean you're away now? If you are, have a good night or a good day, Jason. And thanks for all the super chats as well. But if you're sticking around, then keep chatting. Yeah, Robert Anthony has said Doctor Sleep as well. I mean, Doctor Sleep was really good. I think it was good for a semi-sequel to The Shining. It's probably the best that you could really get for a Shining sequel. I'm not going to go back to these chats on the community page because I think the rest of them are identical questions. So anyone who's asked a question on the community, I'm finished. So thanks for everyone who's asked the questions about the Halloween franchise. I knew that Tony Moran was going to get discussed, so I thought I might as well talk about that as well. If any of you guys have missed the Tony Moran chat, either from this or on this live chat just now, obviously wait until this live chat's done and watch it again if you can. It's only like a 5-minute chat I had about Tony Moran because I didn't want to talk about it for a long time because there's no point. Jordan Moran said Black Hawk Down is his favourite Ewan McGregor movie. See, I'm talking about movies that Ewan McGregor is the lead in the movie. So if you're talking about leads, I wouldn't say Black Hawk Down because he wasn't really the lead, was he? Justin Ritchie said, I'm still hoping for a Halloween 2018 re-release with the title Halloween Returns so it can fit better in the list. Yep, so we've discussed that as well, Justin, and I don't think they will. I think it's too late now. I think everyone's accepted the fact that it's now called Halloween and that's it. If they do rename it, it wouldn't bother me. Maybe they'll do some sort of, like, what was that? Do you remember the movie Edge of Tomorrow? Was it? I can't think of a good example, but the movie Edge of Tomorrow had a tagline that was like 4 times the size of the title of the movie, and the tagline is what everyone thought the movie was called. So maybe they would do something similar, like have Halloween 2018, but call it Halloween Returns. So like it's called Halloween, but it says Halloween Returns on the box and the poster and things, so they could do something like that. So unofficially name it Halloween Returns, because that would have made sense as well. So I promised you guys that I would show you a quick tour of the room. Now everything's an absolute mess just now, but I'll show you what I've got at the moment. Now this side this side of the room is not complete yet because I've got shelving to put up in front of my desk and stuff, but I'll show you what I've got at the moment. And again, it's all set up for filming at the moment, so everything's an absolute mess. It's not always like this. It's nice and tidy, especially when the wife is here, because she would shout at me. So this is my desk. This is my chair, I should say. That's my mood lighting that I changed the colour of. I'll show you that in a minute. That's my camera. Can you hear me? That's my camera. I keep thinking I've got my lapel mic on. So that's my camera where I do my shooting. That's my main blu-ray stand. This is just the kids blu-ray section. None of this is organised. I've got to sit down and do this because you can hardly hear me a bit. So none of this is organised. It's an absolute mess just now. Back to the Future. I've got a couple of masks up there as well. Scream and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. My desk. I'm still building things and measuring things. That's a nice little BenQ light that I get given to me by BenQ. This is where the shelving's going to go. On that side. Up here we've got Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. Going that way. This might be too dark, but I'm going to show you anyway. This is my NECA figures. So you've got Jason, you've got Sam, we've got Chucky, we've got Halloween 2 Michael, we've got Halloween 2018 Michael, we've got Laurie, we've got the kids in the back from Halloween Season of the Witch. Down here, hold on, down here we've got Ghostface from Scream, we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a couple of Pennywise, you can't really see it but we've got Freddy in the background, got Billy from Silent Night Deadly Night, we've got the Nun, and way in the back there we've got Annabelle, but you can't really see it, but I promise she's there. And then we've got, you can't really see that, it's too dark, but we've got Marty McFly from Back to the Future, we've got the DeLorean, and we've got the Jesus from Dogma, and that's just some of my boxes. There's a Big Trouble in Little China Funko Pop. See, all this is hidden away just now because I've not got any space at this moment in time. But I found this little guys. Look. Oh, I drew that in September 2011. My awful attempt at Pennywise. And my shape. So, and that's the stairs up to the attic, up to my bedroom basically. It's got its own bedroom door and stuff, so it's its own space. And that's basically it for now. So let me just put this back up because this is a crazy live stream here. Right, there we go. That's just a quick look at my room. And again, eventually I'll show you like my Blu-rays and stuff. And I done a video earlier on today, and I called, just for a laugh, I called it my movie corner, and I think I'm actually going to do a segment called the movie corner, and I'll just have my setup there, and I'll just pull out random movies and talk about them, just say like, this is a movie that I've got, and so on and so on. So yeah, so let's go back to the chat. Robert Anthony Yedin has said, what should they call Scream 6? Is Scream 5 called Scream? Or is it called Scream 5? Or is it called like 5 Cream? It's called 5 Cream, isn't it? Or the 5 and then the Cream. So like Scream 6. How would you fit a 6 into the Scream? Maybe just Scream 6. Or Scream again. Vanderhoff said, I do like H2O. I even had James Grimm rehaul my H2O mask from Trick or Treat Studios. If you got James Grimm to rehaul your mask, then it's going to be great. He does some absolutely amazing rehauls. GS said the shelves look awesome. They do. Well, these ones don't because they're an absolute mess. These ones look semi-decent because they're kind of organised just now. Yeah, Brian, it is a good setup. The NECA figures are great. I just wish they weren't down there just now. I think once I get my shelving above the laptop and stuff, then I'll put the NECA figures up there so that I know how much space I've got. And you're away now, Brian, so yeah, it was good talking to you again. For those of you who don't know, Bri Horror Channel is my cousin. He just lives round the corner from me as well. I think us two are the only two people in my family that love movies in general, especially horror movies. But I'll see you later, Brian. Brendan McCurry said, looks good. Jealous of your 215 disc box set of Halloween. Far too expensive now. Only have the Friday the 13th one from Scream Factory. Yeah, I mean, the Halloween box sets, I got the first one. The first box set that I got it when it came out. So I got it for like cost price. The second box set I bought separately. I bought the box itself. I think it was like $20 or something like that when it wasn't selling for much. So I bought the box on its own. And then I got the movies individually again, so that I've got two sets. The Friday the 13th box set, I done something similar. I did buy the box set. It came broke. It came slashed, so I had to send it back. I bought it from another seller. I bought it from Amazon. That came intact. And then somebody on eBay was selling their empty box, so I've just bought the empty box for Friday the 13th. So one of the boxes is empty for Friday the 13th, but I do like the way it looks, so I've got two of each basically. So it means if any more Friday the 13th movies come out, then I've got a spare box that I can maybe add to it as well, so that's pretty cool. Halloween Danger Entertainment is back. Revenge of Freddie Harris. Do you mean Dangertainment? I saw a picture of Busta Rhymes today and he's massive now, he's jacked. Don't know if he's taking drugs, but he looks like he could take on Michael Myers now. Maybe not back then, but definitely looks like he could now. Jordan Moran has asked, are you looking forward to Braden Timmons and James Grimm fan films? Cracking hoodie design for Braden. Yeah, looking forward to it. I've done the artwork for Braden on the Haddonfield Nightmare. So that's pretty cool. You'll see the Blu-ray covers and stuff with Michael with the knife. That was me that done that. So yeah, it's good to see like my artwork on fan films, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to both of their fan films. What was I going to say there? Obviously, I'm looking forward to the Haddonfield Nightmare more because I'm a massive Halloween fan and a massive H2O fan as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Braden can do with the H2O storyline. What happens after H2O? That'll be interesting. And I do like the idea of a Sackhead Jason. I'm hoping that James decides to put Sackhead Jason in the majority of the film and not just a bit at the start. I want to see Sackhead Jason throughout most of it. Maybe at the end he'll pick up the hockey mask. I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to both of them. Connor's asked, which is a scarier idea for you? It Follows or Saw? It Follows. I mean, is it unique? I think it is. I think it's a unique concept with It Follows, with the the sexually transmitted disease. It's just so unique and amazing, and I think it does teach people a lesson that you obviously need to keep yourself protected, but It Follows, definitely. So scary. Gory Bits has said, Womp Stomp Films should make whatever the next official Friday the 13th will be. Yeah, I mean, if anything, if is it Warner Brothers? If Warner Brothers take anything from the Never Hike Alone series, is maybe even take Vinny DeSanti as their new Jason Voorhees. He's a good height. He knows the character. He's played the character in really good fan films. So if they don't take anything from it, please at least take Vinny DeSanti as their new Jason Voorhees. That would be great. Jason Dyer has asked, have you seen this new still photos of the new Children of the Corn? Does not look promising. Yeah, I have seen it. It doesn't look promising. Yeah, I agree. Why are they remaking it again? I think they've done it a few times now. They made a few TV versions of it as well. If they're going to remake it properly. Give us a big budget remake and go with that. But again, I think Children of the Corn was pretty good. It was pretty eerie. I liked it. So I'll probably watch this. If it's a movie, I'll probably watch it and see how we go on. But yeah, it doesn't look promising at all though. Byron Weaver has said, I don't know if you've noticed, but Michael Myers actually smiled in Halloween in the bathroom scene. He smiled before he dropped the teeth. Did he? I'll need to look at that. I remember seeing the side of his face. Yeah, I'll check that out. If he's smiling, that's quite creepy. Maybe if he was smiling, we should have saw it more prominently. Versus Nature has said, you know what, in that original scene, it was meant to be the boyfriend character that beat up Michael Myers instead of Busta Rhymes, so it could have been even worse. I would have accepted that more, to be honest, because Freddie Harris, Jesus, he was the worst character ever. The Late Late Horror Show, afternoon or evening if you're me, because it is now 10:33 p.m. where I am. So good afternoon to you, Late Late Horror Show. Justin Ritchie has said, what is your favourite fan film? My favourite fan film at the moment is Jimmy Champagne's Halloween fan film. And I did say before, it came completely out of the blue. Have I finished that? It came completely out of the blue. And it blew me away. It was great. Sorry guys, I need to get another drink. This is the bad thing about having just one person on the show, because when I'm pouring a drink or whatever, nobody else is talking. That's why it's always good to do like a live stream with someone else. Right. I'm back. When I was tidying up some of my stuff, I found some old business cards. You want to see my old business card? I'll cover my mobile number though. Oh, I need to. That's one side. And then the other side. I don't even have that website anymore. I stopped paying for a website because I've got the Adobe Creative Cloud that gives you a free website, so I use that instead. Anyway, that's off topic. So Byron said it's an evil smile, not a picture day at school type of smile. Yeah, I need to check that one out, Byron. Yeah, Jason, Jimmy's movie was so good. Amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, just those 11 minutes of his fan film was way better than anything to do with the Thorn movies. And I don't mean Halloween 4, because to me that's not a Thorn movie. Halloween 5 and Halloween 6. I mean, Jimmy's 11 minutes totally blew them away. It was amazing. Byron Weaver has said, Halloween Inferno is my favourite fan film. Jimmy is so close to being my favourite. I'll need to see the Halloween Inferno movies. I know that people, I think the director, he privately contacted me and asked me to do a review on them, and I just didn't have time at the time. So I think leading up to Halloween this year, I'll maybe watch, is it a trilogy he's got now? Halloween Inferno trilogy. So I'll maybe do a review for those three leading up to Halloween. So something to watch before it. Robert, you've said, The only good thing about Halloween Resurrection is that it gave us David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. I mean, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Also, with the Rob Zombie movies after it as well. That's a good thing about sometimes when you make mistakes in horror movies and the franchises, is it gives you a chance to stop and think about it. Think about what you're doing and change it up. So if it wasn't for those bad movies, we wouldn't have some of the potential good movies that are coming. You never know. Halloween Kills and Ends might even be worse. Fingers crossed it's not. Justin Ritchie's favourite fan film is Never Hike in the Snow. But I'm really harsh on fan films, so I think a lot of them are pretty terrible. I mean, yeah, in general, fan films are not good. You know, fan films are made by fans with no money. But you do get a few gems that come along that tick all the boxes, even in the acting department. Never Hike in the Snow is a good example because the acting in that was great. Only seen it once, but I can't remember the name of this woman, but I think the mum from Never Hike in the Snow, her acting performance, even though it was short, her acting performance was really good. It was almost, well, it was like an actual professional actress, and she probably is a professional. I think she was even better than Tommy Doyle in it. I think she was a really good actress. Jason Dyer, I am missing new Friday the 13th movies so much that I'm actually enjoying watching Jason X. Still hate Jason Goes to Hell. See, Jason X, it's a bad movie, but I'll watch it for some reason. I think a lot of the Friday the 13th, well, not a lot of them, but some of them are really bad, but I'll still watch them. I like Jason Takes Manhattan, but a lot of people hate it so much. So there's something for everyone in the Friday the 13th franchise, that's for definite. But yeah, Jason Goes to Hell is probably the worst in the franchise for sure. Dean Purdy. My Loomis spin-off would take place after the events of Halloween 1. Michael Myers has disappeared into nowhere and he hunts him obsessively, finding other evils instead along the way. Yeah, I mean, that would be quite cool. So from the events of 1978 to 1988, I'm sure Dr. Loomis isn't just walking around twiddling his fingers waiting for Michael Myers to escape. He's got other patients and other things to do. So yeah, that would be another good idea. Brendan McCurry has said, what's your favourite horror franchise or just movie other than Halloween? My favourite is Halloween as a Halloween franchise. I do enjoy Evil Dead Remake. I love the Evil Dead Remake. But in terms of franchises, obviously Friday the 13th franchise is one of my favourites. Although it's not really a massive franchise, I do like the Night of the Demons movies. The Scream franchise as well is another big one. I do like the Child's Play franchise. All the big ones are usually the ones that I tend to go to. But yeah, the Evil Dead remake is fantastic. And that's true, Jason. Jason said, the thing with fan films is that they are made with love and passion. I never rip on them because they come from a creative and positive place. And that's true. You get even kids who will spend a whole day with someone's mobile phone and run around pretending to make a movie for a movie that they love. And although it may be bad, they're doing it with good intentions, or they're doing it with love of the movies. So yeah, I never rip into fan films. Not really. Like, I'll give constructive criticism for a fan film, and I'll always say what was done well. I will try and mention creatively and critically as I can what could have been improved on, but I'll never sit there and go, oh, this is terrible. Haha, this is awful. Look at this. Why are they doing this? I would never do that. I would say, that wasn't good. This is what I would have done. If they're asking for my opinion, I'll certainly give them my opinion. But yeah, I would never like talk down on a fan film like that. It's not nice. Especially since I've never made a fan film in my life, so I don't know what it's like. Justin, I don't know what one you mean then. Justin said, I watched the Friday the 13th one. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like 2 hours long and was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Are any Friday the 13th movies anywhere near 2 hours? I don't know what that one that would be. Ryan Hills has asked, what are your thoughts on the Friday the 13th with Roy Burns? I like it. I know that people say, oh, it's not Jason Voorhees, but neither was part 1. That was Pamela. And I think they went back to the way the Friday the 13th movies were. They obviously felt like they made a mistake by keeping Jason out of it, so they reintroduced Jason in part 6. But I think the Roy Burns idea was good. I liked it, and I think it was a good movie as well. Some cheesy characters, of course, and Tommy Doyle wasn't the best. It's a bit crazy, but overall I liked it. It's not a bad movie at all. I don't think any of the, apart from 1 or 2, the Jason franchise is the more enjoyable franchise if you compare it to Halloween. Halloween's a serious franchise, whereas the Friday the 13th movies, you can have fun with them. If they're bad, you don't care. You still have a good time with them. So I think, yeah, the one with Roy Burns, part 5, was decent, to be honest. Do you want me to change up the colours, guys? Let's see. Let's see what colours we can choose. Is it changing? It is, because I'm a little bit of orangey yellow, and then the other one, make that we'll make that bluish. I'm just going to go back to the purple. For some reason, I love when you're doing backdrops, purplish, purple and blue is very neon 80s style, and I love that. Anyway. If you could change one thing in Halloween 2018, what would that be? I think we'd all agree. That would be to not remove Sartain as a character, but remove his intentions and that specific scene from the whole entire movie. That would be the best thing to do, and that would be the one thing I would change. Wouldn't change an awful lot, to be honest, because a lot of the movie was done right. Another thing I would change is have Hawkins in it a little bit more, because I really liked his character. Robert Anthony Eden has said, I hope we get some Halloween Kills stuff next month. We've got nothing since that teaser last October. And yeah, that's a good point, and that brings me on to another big question that a lot of people have asked that I completely forgot to answer, and that is, what are my thoughts on any more news coming from Halloween Kills? Now, I do have a Halloween insider, and there's certain things that he can tell me, certain things he's allowed to tell me, and there has been a few mentions of Halloween Kills around the Golden Table at Universal, and he was mentioning Candyman, and he said that Candyman looks great. They don't get to see the movies, but they get to see quite a bit. And he got some news on Halloween Ends, never mind Halloween Kills. And there's things that he wasn't allowed to tell me. Well, he was not allowed to tell us anything, but there's things that he's told me, not to spoil anything. He didn't spoil anything for me, but he's asked my opinion on certain things, on what I think should happen in certain places in the Halloween franchise. And I think he's trying to weigh up what fans would want compared to what he's read to see if it matches up. And I told him, don't tell me a specific thing that he might want to tell me without giving anything away. I don't really want to give anything away, but What I'm getting at is there's a lot more chat now on Halloween when it comes to these meetings that they have. So I'm hoping that we get something soon. Now, they did mention that they're doing a steelbook for Halloween Kills as well. He's told me about the artwork that's going to be on the steelbook. And from the description, it sounds a little bit like Rob Zombie's Halloween with the way the description was. That's all I'll say. But there is a Halloween Kills steelbook coming out as well, which is obviously obvious. Anyone could probably guess that, but it's confirmed. So yeah, we're getting a steelbook. What else? Poster and trailer wise, I genuinely thought we would have a poster by now. This is now, what will be May tomorrow, and we don't have a poster yet. I find that bizarre. Maybe they're going to bulk up all the advertising and marketing for the movie over a short space of time, but I would get a poster out there ASAP, and then a trailer soon. I don't want it just to get... See, I don't know how I feel about it, because on one hand, I don't really want to be spoiled, but on the other hand, I want to see something before the movie. I want to see a couple of trailers. Give us a teaser trailer, a 1.5 minute trailer of the basics of what this movie is going to be about, and then maybe 6 weeks or so before the movie comes out, give us a full trailer, 2.5 minutes, but don't give anything away, obviously. Give us enough to talk about, give us enough to theorise, guess what might happen, look at some screen grabs of what that could be and who that character is. If you see things like that, that keeps people talking and chatting about it until the movie comes out. So give us a couple of trailers before it. I'll be happy with that, but don't spoil anything. I think when studios release trailers for movies, anything you see in that trailer, I wouldn't class it as a spoiler, because they've released that intentionally, wanting you to see that. So I think it's okay to talk about these things because they've been officially released. What I don't want people talking about is things that have been leaked or spoken about behind the scenes. That's what I don't like, and that's what I don't want to talk about. But anything that's officially released is great to talk about. Yeah, we need that blue haze there, the Dean Cundy cinematography behind me with the blue. A little bit of purple as well, but the blue. Yeah, that's last year I've done that. Connor said that stream you did with James about collecting and rental stores was great. I always loved talking about the olden days of going to the video store. And there's going to be, my son, for example, he was only 1 year old when the last Blockbuster closed here in Scotland in 2012. And it's a shame because I never get the chance to walk him round on a Friday night to go and rent movies. And now my son loves looking at horror movie covers. And I think he would be the exact same as I was, going into the the video store, going straight to that horror section and just looking at the horror movies for hours. That's all I done. And I love talking about it because it's now genuinely in the past and we can't go back to it anymore. It's something that's so sad that we're never going to experience that anymore. Like picking up a movie and going, I want to rent this movie. And then you look in the back and you're like, this looks so good. And even though it's probably the worst movie ever, you still wanted to rent it every single time. So yeah, I love talking about the olden days of the video stores. In fact, look at this. I've shown this on my channel, but some people haven't seen it because it was an older video. This is the VHS video cover art from Thomas Hodge. He's rounded up some of the best looking artwork of the 80s and so, 70s, 80s, maybe some 90s of VHS cover art. And when you look at this book, it just reminds you of the video store. Like, it's a thick book, so I'll try and... So it's just cover art after cover art of some great movies. Oh, when I say great movies, some really bad movies as well. But look at some of that artwork, it's crazy. Ugh. Well, you get that now and again. This just reminds you of the video store. Maybe they're all set out. Yeah. If you haven't seen this book, guys, check it out. Even purchase it, because I wouldn't do this, but you could rip out these pages and cut the video cover art out and put it into a VHS sleeve. Again, I wouldn't do that, but you could, because I think the actual size. There we go. Let's go back to the chat. GS has asked, any particular Blu-ray release you're looking to track down? Do you have the H2O and Resurrection German media books? I kind of avoid the German media books because most of them have the German text on them, and that ruins it for me. I will buy specific ones like I bought this one because this has English art on it. The Monster Squad. It's got German text on the back, but the spine is fine. It's English, and the front is English as well. So the only problem with these media books, before I bought the first ever media book that I bought in my collection, because they were Blu-ray, I thought they were going to be Blu-ray size, because I did have a Halloween one before that was a Blu-ray size, but this is a DVD size. So it doesn't really fit in the collection properly, which is a bit of a bummer. But a Blu-ray release I'm looking forward to track down. I don't know, there's so many coming out now, and obviously 4K is coming out, so there's probably going to be double dipping involved soon, because I'm going to have to upgrade to 4K on specific movies. Like, imagine, I've spent a lot of money on the Halloween franchise and the Friday the 13th franchise. Can you imagine if a 4K Halloween box set comes out from Scream Factory? Everyone's going to want to buy that again, even though they've spent hundreds on the Blu-ray release. Do you think Sartain caused the bus accident? Oh, hold on, sorry. What was that? Do you think Sartain caused the bus accident? Did he let Myers loose? Yeah, I think so. Well, I think there's three options. One that I thought was the case when I watched the trailer was Laurie caused the bus crash, but obviously it doesn't seem that way when you watch the movie. Or Michael just genuinely got loose, and then Sartain was wrapped up in it, and he's like, "Wow, this guy is so strong. I need to go and follow him or whatever." But most likely Sartain let him loose, I would say. Yeah, Jason, that's a good idea. If you're going to do a trailer for Halloween Kills, you don't even need to show any footage. What Jason has said was, I would love to get a short trailer of just Dr. Loomis talking over Haddonfield images. Give a nod to the man who carried the series for many years. And I would accept that, even if it showed you nothing. Just have pictures of Halloween, even Halloween 2018, leading up to Halloween Kills, but have a voiceover from Dr. Loomis. If not Dr. Loomis, someone who sounds like him. That would be acceptable. Dean Purdy said, Azad Home Video or Ritz were where I would be taken on a Friday night. Yeah, we had something similar. We had Global Video in Scotland. I'm sure you had some Global Videos in England as well. I've still got a Global Video hard box, and I showed it on the channel. And the man who owned Global Video, he's rich. His son contacted me to tell me that he watched my video, and it brought back so many memories. And I can't find the message from him anymore, because I think if I still had his contact details, I would contact him again and ask him if he's still got any spare. Here we go. Andy Pandy has said, the sadder irony is that the days pre-Blockbuster were infinitely superior to when they steamrolled smaller video stores out of business. Yeah, I mean, Blockbuster wasn't massive when I was growing up. I went to one called Kingsway Video. I lived in an area called Scotstoun, and they had this little video store that let you rent movies. And we also had a corner shop as well that rented movies out to you as well. So I would still rent from them. So when Blockbuster and Global Video came, I did go to them because they had more. But the other ones that I used to go to were closer to me, so I would always go there first. The independent stores. And if they didn't have what I was wanting, I would then go to places like Blockbuster and stuff. But when they shut down, I had no choice but to go to Blockbuster. But now I would have Blockbuster over having nothing. The independent rental stores would sell you posters, but at the chains, you relied on staff selling them on the sly. Yeah, that's true. It depends what ones you go to. I went to a Blockbuster where one of my friends worked, and I knew the manager from getting in all the time. So sometimes I would say to him, "Oh, have you got any spare posters of Urban Legend?" And he would say, "Oh, I've none just now, but come back next week and I'll try and keep some for you." And eventually I would get a few of them. They weren't big, massive posters. They were like, I don't know, A3 size. But now and again I would get some free posters. Yeah, there are only a couple of in-person stores that sell Blu-rays and stuff now, like CEX and HMV. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the supermarkets, yeah, you've seen a lot of cool stores in America. I live in the middle of nowhere and can't get to HMV or CEX. Yeah, well, just need to buy online if you can. But yeah, I'll go into town. Luckily for me, I live near the city centre in Glasgow, so I can just get a train or a bus, or I can drive, and it's only 10 minutes away. And we've got a couple of HMVs, we've got CEX. But yeah, that's all you really got these days. I mean, you used to have Virgin Megastores, we used to have a Zavi store as well, and we had places like supermarkets and stuff that sold some really decent Blu-rays. But now when you go into supermarkets, they've got more DVDs than Blu-rays and 4K now, and all the DVDs are like the straight to video ones. It's terrible. Lee Bryan, welcome Lee. You've said 4K Elm Street next. Is that a 4K release of the original Elm Street coming, or is it an actual box set? Because that's the only box set that I've got of the big horror franchises. It's so small, it's so slim, that I would welcome a thick set. And if it's coming out in 4K, then even better. Justin said, do you think if they were to make a CGI Loomis in Halloween Kills, it would actually look any good? Or do you think it would be beyond their budget? I don't think it would be beyond their budget. You'd be amazed at what you can do with a small budget. And if it's only a flashback, then you don't have to do what they've done in Rogue One and have a CGI character all the way through it. I mean, you could literally have Dr. Loomis in one scene, and that's not going to cost a lot of money. Yeah, it'll cost a lot of money for us, but for Blumhouse, what's $1 million to them, you know? Yeah, the one thing I hate about media books is the DVD height. The Hitcher Slipbox release is good though, it's Blu-ray height. So yeah, you never know what size the Blu-ray media books are going to be until you buy them or somebody's posted them. But sometimes when someone posts a picture of a media book, they'll post it like this, and you can't really tell the size of it because they're not comparing it to anything else. Whereas what I would do is I would tell people like, my OBS just disconnected there and reconnected, so I'm hoping it doesn't cut the chat. We're back on, guys. I think the OBS studio just cut off there, but it's back on again. That's strange. Right, so we've been on the chat for exactly 2 hours now, guys. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. I'll answer some more questions and then we'll start wrapping it up. Big Al has asked, what was the first film you ever rented? Mine was Rambo 2. Not mine, but Al's. Bloke in the video shop was a cool fella who turned a blind eye to the fact that I was renting it every weekend for my mum when I was 6. The first one I remember renting was probably RoboCop. It wasn't me personally, like my dad rented it for me. We used to, on a Friday night, we would have our dinner and then we would go to my grand's house with my dad's mum, and she would always give us £1 each. And then my dad, because my gran lived, the video store was in between my house and my gran's house, so we would come out of my gran's with our £1, and my dad would take us to the video store and we would rent a movie, because the movies were only £1 to rent sometimes, or the new movies were £2 to rent. So we would rent whatever we wanted, but sometimes my dad would say, oh, do you want to rent that movie and I'll get it for you? Something that he wanted to rent. And there was one time I wanted to rent a horror movie, I think it was Fright Night, and my dad's like, let's rent Universal Soldier. And I'm like, no, I don't want to rent that, I want a horror movie. But he said okay, so I stood outside and he came out with Universal Soldier, and I was absolutely raging because I knew that to kids a week is a long time, and I had to wait another week to rent something else. It was horrible. But yeah, to answer that question, I think it was RoboCop, from what I remember. Right, that's me cut up with the chat, guys, and it looks like some of you guys are leaving as well. So I'm probably going to end it here just now. But it was a good chat. Lasted over 2 hours, which is a long time for me. And it's good to get back into the swing of things, into getting my videos back up and running, my live chats going, my background sorted, and a decent place to film and edit and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But thanks everyone for all the super chats that I had, and thanks for all your questions and your chats in the chat. It's very much appreciated. Without you guys, I'd be sitting talking to myself for 2 hours, which would be embarrassing to say the least. But it's good to get back into the swing of things, like I said, and I'll try and get these live chats more frequent now that I'm back up and running again. So yeah, thanks everyone for having me. Thanks for letting me entertain you, or semi-entertain you, for 2 hours. But yeah, have a good night, guys, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye bye.